A $1,500 Prism that quit in 5 hours doomed the whole idea. In 2013, Google Glass was the future strapped to your face. By noon, it was dead weight, and soon a punchline. Here's why this mattered. Glass wasn't a gadget, it was Google's bet on the next smartphone. A computer on your face, hands-free, always with you. Every smart glasses effort since, from Meta to Apple's Vision headset, was shaped by watching this one fail. So the real question isn't whether Glass was ahead of its time. It's which layer broke first. Start with the hardware because that's where the promise cracked. Glass didn't fill your vision with holograms. It had one tiny prism sitting above your right eye. It projected a small screen into the top corner of what you saw. You had to glance up to read it. That's not immersive augmented reality. That's a notification light with delusions of grandeur. Now the price. The Explorer Edition cost $1,500. $1,500 for a beta device. Not a finished product. A test unit with a short list of features, sold at the price of a good laptop. But here's the part that killed daily use. The battery lasted about 5 hours. 5 hours, and that's on a light day. Start recording video and it drained far faster. Sometimes dead before lunch. Think about what Glass was asking of you. Wear me all day. Let me be your always-on window to the world. Then it tapped out before your afternoon meetings. A face computer that dies at noon isn't a face computer. It's a very expensive paperweight you have to remember to charge. Weak display, beta price, half-day battery. 3 strikes and we haven't even left the hardware. So if the device itself was this compromised, why did people line up to buy it? Because for a moment, none of that mattered. Being seen in Glass was the point. And that's exactly where the second problem was waiting. Now the problem no spec sheet could fix. Glass had a camera on the front, and no one around you could tell when it was on. Point your phone at someone and they see it coming. But a person glancing your way through a pair of glasses, they had no idea if they were being filmed. That single uncertainty turned strangers into suspects. And the public noticed fast. Bars put up signs banning it. Restaurants asked wearers to take it off. Casinos worried about people recording the tables threw it out. Movie theaters treated it like a hidden camera because functionally it was one. A word got coined for people who wore glass in the wrong place. Glasshole. Say that out loud. There's now a slur for using your gadget. That's not a hardware bug you can patch. That's the market telling you it doesn't want this pointed at its face. Here's the deeper point. Every technology has to clear 2 tests. Does it work and will people accept it in public? Glass could pass the first and still fail the second. You could love your glass, but every room you walked into, you were the reason the mood shifted. Wearing it in public made you a liability to yourself. The failure wasn't only in the circuitry. It was in the social contract, the unspoken rules about filming each other. And Glass broke those on day 1. So the hardware was thin and the public was hostile. Couldn't Google have fixed all this with the right pitch? That's where the third mistake comes in, and it was Google's own strategy. Here's the strategy that backfired. Google didn't quietly test Glass. It sold the beta to developers, journalists, and influencers first, and called them explorers. The idea? Get it on visible people, build buzz, learn fast. But look at what that actually did. It turned an unfinished product into a status symbol before it was useful. People were flaunting a $1,500 gadget that day-to-day did almost nothing special. And that's the real gap. Glass never had a killer app, the one thing you couldn't live without. It showed you notifications. It took photos and video. It gave you walking directions. Useful. Sure. Worth $1,500 and the risk of being called a glasshole. Not even close. Your phone did all of that sitting quietly in your pocket filming no one. So the value never justified the cost. Money or social? When the newest thing you owned is what your phone already does, but louder and ruder, the shine wears off fast. In January 2015, Google pulled the Consumer Explorer Edition. Not a recall, a quiet retreat. The experiment that was supposed to launch the next platform just stopped selling. Step back and the pattern is clear. Google shipped a test unit as a lifestyle product, priced it like a finished one, and never answered the one question every buyer asks. What is this actually for? So we've got 3 failures. Weak hardware, public rejection, no real use. Which one sank it? Here's the uncomfortable answer. Not one of them. It was all 3 stacked. Now watch the whole thing click. Glass didn't fail from one fatal flaw. It failed because 3 separate weaknesses landed on the same product at the same time. The hardware was thin. 1 Prism, 5 hours of battery. The price was steep. $1,500 for a beta. And the world pushed back. No clear use and a camera nobody trusted. Fix any single one and Glass still falls because the other 2 are still standing. That's the master loop closed. Not a broken part, a broken stack. And every serious smart glasses maker since has read this exact autopsy. The lesson they took. Win social acceptance and find a real use before you obsess over the hardware. Don't sell a beta as a lifestyle. Make people comfortable being near the wearer first. Here's the twist most people miss. Glass didn't actually die. In factories and warehouses, where nobody cares about looking cool and the camera is a feature, a version of glass quietly kept working for years. It failed the sidewalk. It survived the assembly line. The technology was never the whole problem. The setting was. So there it is. The Prism, the 5 hours, the $1,500, each pointed at the same verdict. Not one killer flaw, but three arriving together. Today's smart glasses are smaller, cheaper, and quieter about that camera. Every one of them built on the lessons glass paid for. Next question. How do the newest pairs hide a full display in a normal-looking lens? We'll open that box next.